I wake up at 4 a.m., have a full-time job. I get it done.
But your life allows it. Yeah.
No,
your
I make my life. No.
There is a man that wants that lazy, obese woman.
No.
If you see me, you consider me obese?
I wouldn't say that you're obese,
Okay.
but it's like medically, you know.
So like for example.
So you're medically obese though?
No,
Yes.
I've been medically obese since I was like 12 and I was not obese.
It's things like this that really do make people look at you sideways and just say, are you kidding me? Yes, you are obese. Of course you are. Like, we can tell by looking at you are obese, but for some reason, I don't know where it came from. Over the last how many years, they've treated the word obese as if it's a slur, which doesn't make sense. Yes, you are obese. It doesn't mean that you're a disgusting person. It just means that based on your height and your weight and us just looking at you, you are obese. If you are brand new here and you clicked on the video on the title and you're probably thinking, damn, that's kind of harsh. This video is not to super bash women or anything along those lines. What I will do is I'm going to be going over a video by Jubilee, which goes over women of various sizes talking about obesity. And the reason why I specified women in the title is because the way men and women treat obesity and the reasons for it is slightly different. As always though, comment down below, especially if you're a woman. I like making sure that both sides can speak, whether you're overweight or you're thin. Feel free to comment down below. Same for the guys as well. And in case you didn't know, this is the video here that we'll be kind of going over. The key thing I would like to say is that the video is 44 minutes long. I would love to react to it all, but if you didn't know, Jubilee, if you use portions of the video, even when you're reacting to it, they will bring down your video. So for that reason, I've picked out like 4 to 6 moments where I'm going to actually cover and try and go more in depth on, and hopefully there's no issues. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
Our first prompt is, your physique is in your control.
I just think it is not 100% in your control. To say it's like black and white, you can change it or you can't, is just crazy. I go to the gym, I sit there, and I'm like, if only everyone had access and the free time to do this. I'm sure so many other people would love to do that, but people are struggling. They need to pay their rent. They can't just allot that time. They need to prioritize. And I think that's ultimately what is really sad.
The fact that you said that some people need to prioritize, yes, you do. I work a 9-to-5 job. I try and do this YouTube channel stuff. And I also try and actually actively go to the gym. I'm now a new dad as well. And obviously I've got to be a good partner as well. There's a whole bunch of things that use up my time. And I do find it difficult, especially I'm in the newborn phase too, which is highly difficult. However, I decided to make a priority. So what I've done is number 1 comes baby, then it comes wifey, then it comes me and fitness. That is a list of priorities I have set. So for example, when I'm tired from doing loads of work, I could easily just sit on the sofa like I did for the first 3 weeks of the baby being born and not really move much because I feel exhausted. I just want to relax and wind down. I could just do that. However, being physically fit, especially now that I've got a child, I kind of want to make sure I'm more active as I get older to make sure I can keep up with them. I said, you know, it's a priority in my life. I need to just, even though I don't feel like it right now, I feel exhausted, I need to go. Even if I can't do my regular routine of an hour and a half in the gym, I'm going to go and at least do 45 minutes. But if I didn't make it a priority, I'll still be sitting on the sofa. So in essence, what I'm kind of saying is that everybody can fit in some time to exercise. You may not be able to go to the actual physical gym, but if you really wanted to improve your health, everybody's got a good 30 minutes that they could do at home and do a little workout. Buy little dumbbells, they're not expensive. Go on Facebook Marketplace, you can get them for dead cheap and do a nice little workout that you find from YouTube. You ain't got to buy no super expensive personal trainer or gym membership. You can do it at home. So I do believe it's an excuse for the majority.
I disagree. I'm sorry, I disagree. Like, there's some of us who are on the fit side that don't have that privileges. I wake up at 4 a.m., have a full-time job. I get it done.
But your life allows it. Yeah.
No,
your
I make my life. No.
This is the beginning of the mindset. I'm telling you, the lady just literally specified that I have to forcibly wake up early to make time for something I prioritize. And the overweight lady, her instant response was, because your life allows it. No, it didn't allow it. She just described to you that she's very, very, very busy, but she wants to make sure that she stays on top of her health. This is the start of the mindset I'm trying to tell you, where people will constantly make excuses and make themselves a victim so they can take away the accountability from themselves. Because once you remove the fact that you have any input or any autonomy in it, you can then say, well, it's not my fault because of X, Y, Z. And when you have that mindset, it's not just about fitness. Various things in your life you just won't do because you're taking away your agency. It's almost insulting to yourself. You have to have more belief in yourself that you can do things. If you just think that you have no play in anything, this is a bad mindset to have.
But other people don't have the possibilities that you
They
have.
do. They just
Not everyone.
Like, let's say, for example, you're a teenager and you're like 500 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
The work that you need to do to remedy that, that's really challenging.
I don't want to dwell here too long because that was a stupid point. For one, if you're a teenager and you're 500 pounds, like she said, how do you think you got there? It wasn't by magic and it definitely wasn't genetics. 500-pound teenagers don't just fall out of the... Sounds crazy. I was going to say fall out of the sky. 500-pound teenagers just don't get there by accident. It would be a lifestyle that basically got them to that position. And that is something that they would have to address. In that scenario, it wouldn't just be about going to the gym. That would be addressing what's in the kitchen, because even if that 500 pounds person went to the gym, say 5 times a week, they'll still probably be really overweight unless they change their eating habits. This is why fitness isn't just about going to the gym. It's a lifestyle. Unless you address the lifestyle, you ain't going to improve. And making excuses like this is terrible. And something I do want to reiterate, as the title says, I think you'd find very few men that will argue some of the points you're going to see in this video the same way. Because I know many fat dudes and they just kind of like, yeah, I'm fat, bro. Yeah, I know, man. I should probably cut out the snacks, but what can I say, man? I like my beers and I like my snacks, and they kind of own it more. It still doesn't have the best end result. However, the accountability, knowing that they could change it but can't be asked to, is what makes me, in my mindset sometimes, respect them more, but then also not respect them. I'm like, you know the issue, so you're not lying to yourself. However, you knowing the issue and not taking action isn't great.
It's hard for both, but it can be done, is my point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
That's
say
my
that it's
only
as hard
point.
for me as someone who's overweight trying to lose that weight. In my opinion.
But do you believe that it can be done?
I believe it can be done.
It's not about whether it's harder than another. That wasn't the prompt. The prompt is, it is in your control. And she basically said, yes, I do believe it's you versus you. So if you're someone that struggles with your weight, don't try and aim to be super skinny because it's probably going to be too difficult. However, if you're 400 or 500 pounds, like she said, aim to try and get to 400 pounds. Every time you get closer to a healthier weight is a win. You don't need to automatically think, I'm obese now, I should be super muscular, super fit. That's not where it needs to go. You can go from being super overweight to being slightly chubby or slightly overweight, and that's a huge win. Dropping 150 pounds off your body, trust me, that'll change your mindset and that'll change your life.
I believe it can be done, but I think empathy and compassion for the different circumstances that may stop someone from doing that.
I thoroughly do believe in empathizing with people how they're in certain positions. However, it's important to empathize but not coddle. Like, everyone's approach is different. Like, I have some clients that come to me that want to lose weight, that there's someone that just wants to lose maybe like 5 or 10 pounds, just to look lean when they're here on the beach. How I coach that person is going to be totally different to some of the overweight clients I've had. Because to be honest, most of my clients normally come from an overweight background and they're like 300 or something pounds. The way that I coach them is not the same as I would coach someone that's like just trying to get leaner for vanity reasons. Someone that's like 300 pounds, they're trying to make a whole lifestyle change. So what we do is we break down their whole lifestyle before we even think too much about the gym. How often do you walk per day? What's your mindset life on average? Do you actually want to get to this body weight you mentioned, or do you just want to feel more confident in your clothes? There's a whole bunch of other things that factor in, which helps cover that empathy area so I can understand the mindset more. And once we address those things, it helps them lose down the weight. But what I don't do, I don't overcoddle them. So moving on, the next prompt is, body positivity can promote unhealthy habits, which I do agree with, because when people think of body positivity, they think of like the fat acceptance group with clips like these.
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity.
Or other clips such as this.
Number 3, make elevators and hallways spacious to allow for easy movement of larger individuals.
And these sort of groups really do muddy the waters for the more normal people that probably were in that group, because they're getting lumped together with some of these more insane people, like, you know, where they're using up disability scooters and wheelchairs because they're too overweight to walk. Hopefully the majority of overweight people do not think like them. However, they're the most vocal ones and they kind of tarnishes the group. And unfortunately, because they're the most vocal and extreme ones, they become more viral on the internet, and then more younger people that are impressionable will tend to follow these people and then grow up with that crazy mindset, and to the point where they're talking about health doesn't matter no matter how heavy you are, which will soon be displayed when people don't understand common things when it comes to their health.
Women come in all shapes and sizes, right? And every woman is beautiful. But I feel like especially on social media and in society today, this body positivity movement, I've seen like multiple times where there's like obese women promoting body positivity.
What's obese for you?
Like an unhealthy lifestyle.
No.
That's not what obese is. Obese is simply, you know, I know people are going to scream because I'm going to say the words BMI, but BMI for people that don't work out in the gym is fairly accurate. You know what I mean? Unless you're like abnormally denser bones or you have implants like some women do, like breast implants. for the most part, based on your height and weight, it'll kind of distinguish whether you're obese. And if I'm being completely honest, those that fall in the obese category, you don't even need to use the BMI because you can look at them and you can tell. There's a difference between slightly overweight and obese. Like, for example, I have always been classed when it comes to the BMI as overweight since the age of like 14 because a little bit more heavier bones and muscle because I go to the gym and have done now for around 12 years. So I've never really seen the words normal unless I'm like ridiculously low body fat and shredded.
What's obese for you?
Obese, like a
For
medically
me,
obese.
if you see me, you
What's her
consider me
range?
obese?
Yes. Like, comment down below. Women, men, whatever you are, comment down below. Would you class this lady as obese?
I wouldn't say that you're obese, but it's like medically,
So,
you know.
So this is what I mean when I'm saying, like, if this was a group of men, I know for a fact the man, actually, to be fair, they've already done this version where it was men, and the men that were on the fit side, apart from some of the idiots like Myron Gaines, they were calling out people that were obese, that said they weren't obese, and vice versa. But on this panel, you just heard a girl basically lie to that lady's face. She knows for a fact, she's into the gym, she knows for a fact that woman is obese. However, because she doesn't want to hurt her feelings or appear rude or mean online, even in a setting like this where you're meant to speak open and honestly, she's decided to lie and say, oh, no, I don't think you're obese, but maybe medically, when that is the only reason and only way that she would be obese. Because yes, by BMI medical standards, you are obese because you are obese. But there's this growing trend where people are starting to basically think that the word obese is a slur, when in reality, it is just what you are. Like, for example, if you have super, super low body fat, which is ridiculously low, you're going to be classed as underweight or anorexic or whatever term you want to use. These are real terms and you shouldn't be offended by them. And if they fit you and you're offended by them, all that says to me is that you should probably actually take that as a call to action to maybe better your circumstances. As I said, you ain't got to try and be a stick. But if you're super obese like that lady is, instead of being offended by the term, try and take onus of your life a little bit more, rather than using excuses to justify you being able to stay the way you are without having to make no changes.
So, like, for example,
you're medically obese, though?
Yes. I've been medically obese since I was like 12 and I was not obese.
I have a feeling she doesn't know what obese means.
Would anybody here explain what they mean by medically obese?
Exactly.
Like
BMI.
like when you go to the doctor's office and you get weight on a scale, like if you look at me, you would be like, oh, she's a little plus size, but I am technically considered obese.
At least someone that's honest.
But I think a person that can be considered obese will not be able to go on walks. They will lose their breath. For me, because I am a person that I'm big, but I'm, like I said, I'm still able to go on hikes and I won't lose my breath.
That is not what obese means. That would be more like saying out of shape. You know what I mean? For example, I made a video not too long ago. It's called Fat, Fit, and Healthy. And I basically explained in that video, just to give you a spoiler alert, feel free to watch it. But in essence, it was going through someone who was overweight, but was very, very active when it comes to bicycles. Like, he loved cycling all over the city, but as a person who was overweight, I said that you can be overweight and fit because that's about moving your body. How mobile are you? How can you move? But being healthy is different. That's in regards to your body fat, your actual blood work. There's a whole bunch of things that go into health. Being fitter is easier than being healthy. And even though she's mentioned how she can walk and stuff, that is the bottom level of fitness. Let's be real. If, this is going to be an extreme example now, but say the zombie apocalypse broke out right now, and we all needed to jet down the street to make it to a bus in time to be taken to safety, I'm almost fairly saying that she probably wouldn't be on a random day be able to just quickly run down the street and make that bus. You know what? I probably could have said that without the zombies. There's different levels of fitness. Yes, she can walk without losing her breath, but that isn't that high of a bar that she thinks it is.
I can go on runs. I can exercise. So if for the doctors I'm obese.
Maybe I'm wrong. She just said she can go on runs, but I would need to see what she calls a run because, you know, I'm not even going to take it there, but I said what I said. I don't want to be rude with it because the aim of the video isn't to be rude. It's more or less trying to spot the things that are inconsistent with the truth.
So for you, obesity is just the health parameter of how physical you can be.
When that doctor says that bad word.
That bad word. So she can't even say the words obese because what? This is what I mean when the mindset's nuts. Like, you can't have a frank and honest conversation. You're on a show meant to debate this topic and you can't use the word out loud. This is what I mean when I'm saying these are the sort of mindsets that stop people from getting in shape, specifically women. Because let's be real, for those of you watching, I'm talking to you women for the most part, do you believe that men would speak this way in regards to this topic? I don't believe many men would skirt around the word obese. They would just say, or they would just probably just say fat. And the next prompt now is an interesting one. So the title is, fit women are more attractive than fat women. I feel like this is a very obvious answer. Not always 100% true, but it's an obvious answer. But it's going to be interesting to see how many walk forward, because personally, I would think the majority should. But with that being said, this may be partially due to my race. I do love a thick woman. You know what I mean? There's a difference between what I mean thick and someone else. Like, when I say thick, I'm talking about like, you know what I mean? I like a big, I like a curvy girl, not like complete circle, but I'm talking about, I do like a girl that has curves. So I'm not really with like super thin women personally, but that's my preference. Everyone has different ones. For example, you can ask my girlfriend. I've always said that Jill Scott, she ain't skinny by any means. Like, her weight's fluctuate over the years, but boy, Jill Scott to me, just her aura and everything, like, she has good sex appeal to me. Some of you watching, I probably do, probably highly disagree, but the black ones watching, if you know Jill Scott and you know how she talks and just in general how she carries herself, she's up there for me anyway. But yeah, back to the video. Let's see how many walk forward.
Fit women are more attractive than fat women. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I would definitely agree. Fit women are more attractive than like plus size women.
Before she gets into it, remember this is based on average. So this doesn't mean every single woman that's fit is better looking. Like, we're doing literally the majority.
Me having this body, it shows that I can commit to something, right? And it shows that I'm hardworking.
I think people like to be like, oh, it's always going to be the fit woman is more attractive than the plus size woman. I just don't think that's true.
Of course, it's never always going to be true. Nothing is ever black and white. It's never absolute, but it's talking about the majority. This woman here, I do feel like is almost a plant, because for one, she uses her sex appeal on her Instagram page, because she's been on these videos before, so I've seen her. She's been on multiple Jubilee videos. She does cosplay. She's very, conventionally attractive, right? Very, fit build. She uses her sex appeal on Instagram to get loads of followers and loads of likes, and she capitalizes on it if you look at her page. But yet still, she's in this video acting like visuals don't really play into it much. I guarantee if she was triple the size she is now, doing the same content she's doing now, she would have marginal results. And that's not to say you should always value yourself based on social media, but when it comes to pretty women, when it comes to Instagram, I think we all know that men will just double tap and follow because she's attractive. She may have the greatest personality on Instagram too, but for the most part, they're all there dropping love eyes in their comments, calling her beautiful and wonderful, more because she looks attractive. So I do feel like this girl here, she just wants to be on there and seen as the nice girl.
To assume that size will always equal more attractive, I just think is like silly. It's a case-by-case basis.
As I said, she's just like, it's went over her head. She's talking about like, you gotta use absolutes. Everybody knows in these scenarios, when you're making these kind of debates, you have to talk about the majority, because no one can ever say 100% is 100%. For example, I could take someone that most people say is attractive, like Scarlett Johansson in The Avengers, or Halle Berry, or Jennifer Lopez. If I said, yo, not a man alive would say no to them, there's gonna be some men that are gonna say, nah, they're not my type. So what are you meant to do? Measure it off the few people that say no, or you're gonna say, okay, most men find these women attractive.
The biggest issue I have was what you said about men being attracted to you more just because you're fit. I think that that's basing your worth on a man. And I'm married, as a married woman saying that, I just don't understand what that has to do with the principle of just physical attractiveness.
Who does she think this prompt is about? It says, fit women are more attractive than fat women. As we've mentioned earlier, the majority of the world are straight. And so if you're going with the majority, we're talking about the male gaze, if you want to give it that title. It makes no sense. Like, just imagine this on the flip side. So you're going to say that most women, on average, prefer super obese men than someone that's like average size or fit. You know what I mean? That's not going to be truthful, is it? So to me, her little insert there was just unnecessary and didn't make no sense given the prompt. You know what I mean? If it was about, do you feel like your self-worth is great, and then she mentioned talking about men, then I'll be like, it's different, because that is your inner peace and your inner happiness. But when they're talking about the physical in regards to attractiveness, you have to factor in men, because that's the demographic you're going to date.
That's basing your worth on a man.
Like, obesity aside, this is why women sometimes get bad advice from other women. It's why the movie, if you've ever seen it, is called He's Not That Into You. And the main premise of the movie is this girl who's struggling with dating, like the main single one in their friendship group, she's having struggles due to like very obvious personality traits. She's clingy, she acts awkwardly often around men, and there's various things that are fairly obvious that all her female friends have noticed. However, every time she asks them about it, instead of telling her the real truth, and they clearly know it because the movie purposely lets us realize that they know these things about her, they lie to her face just to be nice. Like they'll say, oh no, it's not you. He's definitely gonna call. Oh no, you were definitely right to ring him 20 times that day. And a prime example, which I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I do have a dedicated video I will be doing on this specific video here. But it's a very similar topic, and it's about this guy who has been brought in to more or less give his advice on women when it comes to obese dating. And the guy gets shunned instantly for saying something that's common sense.
Steve just said that men don't want to date obese women because it's an indication of them not taking care of themselves. Please back that comment up.
Well, I just think there's nothing wrong with curvy women. There's nothing wrong with big, beautiful women. But there's something wrong with somebody who is so heavy that they can't go up a flight of stairs without running into a heart attack.
Everything sounds fine and normal and common sense, but just see what happens.
Interesting about this, I was talking to my brother about, men dating bigger women. And he goes, you know what, Nicole? He goes, I have my friends who will pretend just because they don't want to admit to their homeboys, they like big women on the under and they will try and keep it a secret.
Let's be real. How many scenarios do you know where the majority of men will prefer obese women over someone that's a regular size? Her bringing out her brother's little fringe, small scenario that's a hypothetical did not help anyone in the audience. And I feel like literally she's the example of that movie I mentioned, He's Not That Into You, because everything she's saying is what in that movie the women were saying to the main character.
I also have a friend, he will only date big girls. He wants the biggest girl in the room, okay? There's a man who loves big women.
So if you this far in the video, you should start to see what I'm saying. Like, I'm not out here hating on women. Trust me, I love women. But you can clearly see that there is a certain mindset amongst women, even ones that aren't even overweight themselves.
There's some men that want that big.
Bearing in mind, this is a lady that works out stringently. Like, she's 50-something. She's super, super skinny, super, super shredded and lean year round. But she's giving this advice to this whole panel of women who are struggling with dating. And given that these people are struggling, her advice to them isn't something practical like he's saying, like, yeah, you're wonderful, but if you want to stand your best chances, you may want to try broaden your appeal by maybe taking control of your shape. Like, if I had a friend that was like 400 pounds heavy and he's struggling with dating, the first thing I'm going to tell him is, bro, you got to drop down some of the weight because that's going to help your options. However, she's just telling these women what they probably want to hear.
There is a man that wants that lazy, obese woman.
No.
Like, this face is priceless. This is literally how every man that probably saw that clip probably is thinking. But I don't want to go much into this video because I have a whole video dedicated on that already. Feel free to subscribe if you're new here to actually watch it. But in essence, what I'm trying to get at is that hopefully at this point in the video, you're probably noticing a trend. And if you haven't, I feel like you're almost trying to purposely blind yourself, which is something you need to stop. Because when you keep the blinders on, you're going to miss the obvious truths in life. This video isn't to say that obese women are horrible. This video is just to say that there is definitely a mindset that is pervasive around women when it comes to their body weight. And the main mindset is that women should never have to change their weight, which isn't true. Men and women both have to try and improve their weight. So my aim in making this video is not to bash women because I don't believe in that. My point is just to kind of lift up the mirror to show you guys that there are some people that are holding you back. And if you're being completely honest and you've watched this full video and you don't see any of the points, maybe not all of them, but if you don't see any of the points I've mentioned in the video, I do feel like you need to definitely look in the mirror and have a hard look and be honest with yourself and ask yourself why. Anyways, people, as a whole, please comment down below your thoughts. If you disagree with me, I definitely want to hear from you. And if you agree with me, I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts too. And also, if you are someone that is struggling with your weight, whether you're a man or a woman, be sure to check out some of my other videos or feel free to message me if you need any help with coaching. Anyways, see you in the next one.